Friends and learners, welcome back to another video on the topic OER evaluation. In this video, we will be talking about what are the factors that we can consider for evaluating the open educational resources. In the previous videos, we had extensively discussed about the meaning of open educational resources. I would request you to take some time to recollect the definition of OER. We have started with OER and we have told that OERs are nothing but they are any form of teaching learning materials having an open license. So such open education resources can be reused, adapted, remixed, that can also be shared. So there are many things that we can do with open educational resources. We have also discussed about the various types of OER. It includes almost all the types of digital teaching learning resources, such as image, graphics, picture, and the digital resources that you are seeing on the screen. Not only that, it includes animation, simulations, and the digital resources which you are seeing on the screen. So friends, there is absolutely no limit that way we can say. Many of the digital teaching learning resources, when they have an open license attached with it, this can be considered OER. Now the question is, since we have various types of OER and since they have an open license attached with it, anyone who is interested in using OER, they can make use of it. So, but when we are thinking of using an OER, we will definitely see its quality, whether this is a good OER, whether I can use it for my teaching learning purpose. So then the quality is very important with regard to open educational resources. So when we talk about why we need to evaluate OER, the first thing that we can quote is like, since there are different kinds of OER, of course, then the quality is a big concern. Say for example, we are seeing many images in the internet, and we have also seen that many of such images are not of good quality. There will not be any clarity. Some images are very clear, so we will make use of such quality images. This is the same with open education resources also. If you are seeing an open education resource in the form of e-text, you will see whether you can use it, whether it is having quality, and there are many things which are related to that. So one of the points which we can quote when we talk about the evaluation of OER is the availability of various open educational resources. So that again then leads to quality concerns. How the OERs are developed. Since there is no limit that anyone can develop any teaching learning resources which are digital in nature. Say for example, if I want to develop a video program, of course, no one would stop me. I can develop the video program. I can make it open education resource. But whether this will be used by any other teachers or any other people, that depends on how this video is developed. If it is not having good quality, then others will not be interested in using my OER, the video which I have developed. So friends, this is very important then, the quality of OER, and that's why we always go behind evaluating the OER. This can be done when developing the audios also, when developing the OERs. So in that case, evaluation is very important, evaluation of OER. Now when we talk about the evaluation, of course the quality comes in. Then how it is done, how you will judge the quality of OERs. We were saying that there are different types of OERs. Then how one will be able to judge the quality of OERs? I would say there are no standard parameters for judging the quality of OERs, or we don't have any such indicators or factors which we can use it for judging. No standard parameters, indicators or factors. But of course, there are many factors, but we don't have any such standardized criteria. This is important. We don't have any standardized parameters or factors. So then we have to see some alternative. Of course, if it is not having quality, how we will make use of, how the teachers will make use of such open educational resources. But of course, as I said, we don't have, even though we don't have any standard parameters or factors, of course, we have some factors or parameters or indicators which we can definitely use for judging the quality of OERs. Some of the parameters you are seeing on the screen, like what is the accuracy? This has to be very accurate. See, if you are developing any video program on any concept, we cannot keep on talking about many things. We have to be very accurate about the concept which is discussed in the video program. This is the same with what we say if you are developing any e-text. The points should be there, it should be accurate. Next, quality of the content, of course. Third, the coverage of the content. Again, if you are developing a e-text, if you are developing an e-text, then there should be adequate content coverage in the e-text. The next important point is quality of protection. See, there are various ways by which we can develop digital teaching learning resources. Say, for example, I am developing a video program on any concept. I can do it in various ways. Like, say, for example, I can make use of my mobile device for developing the video program. I can make use of my desktop or laptop. Tablet can be used. These are some of the ways. Or else I can go to any studio that can be video shooted. So that possibility is also there. But if you are developing such video programs, then there is a question whether this is beautifully prepared. So if you want to make it a quality one, then of course the editing also has to come in. This has to be edited. We have to insert graphics, pictures, text wherever it is possible. So the quality of production is also another parameter. Then accessibility, of course, we have to make it public. But merely by making it public, the teachers who are willing to use your OERs will not be visible to them. There are many things which are available on the internet. So there has to have some kind of arrangement which would help the teachers, the other people who can easily identify your OERs. Adaptivity, whether it can be used for other people, whether other people can make use of your OER. So adaptivity is also very important. Authority. So who is making this OER? This also depends. The authorship style. This also matters. Because as I said, anyone can develop any digital teaching learning resource. But this will be different. The OERs developed by different people will be of different nature, different quality. So then authority, authorship style also matters. Relevance, it has to be very relevant. So for example, if I am developing any digital resource, I may be taking the Indian context. This may not be applicable in other countries. So then the relevance of the points, the relevance of the content, the relevance of the digital resources that you are using, everything matters. And the other important point is licensing. As we have seen in the previous videos, like the most popular license used is the Creative Commons license, which are of 6 in number. So what kind of license you will give to your open education resource? This also matters because there are restrictions in using depending upon the license that you are attaching with your open educational resource. Objectivity is also other parameter which would help us to judge the quality of OERs. So friends, as I said, there are no standard parameters, but these are some of the factors, parameters, indicators which of course anyone can make use of while they judge the quality of open educational resource. Now, when we talk about the judging the quality of OERs, the Commonwealth of Learning in 2015 have given couple of quality indicators. They are like, the first one is peer review. Of course, if I am developing a digital teaching learning resources, I will make it as an OER. Then I'll be giving to my colleagues so they can review the material that I have developed. If there are any changes to be made that can be pointed out. So peer reviewing is one of the quality indicators. User rating. So the OERs, many people use that, many teachers make use of the OERs, and when they give any rating, that can be also considered as an quality indicator. If they give good rating, then of course that OER will be considered as a good quality OER. Self-evaluation, something which is related to the peer reviewing. In peer reviewing, couple of colleagues, couple of people, they will review that and they will say that this is a good quality OER. This is also possible by self-evaluating. Say for example, I am developing again a video program. I will evaluate myself whether it is having quality, the OER that I have developed. So self-evaluation can also be considered as one of the quality indicators. Brand reputation is also there. Say for example, depends on the reputation of the people who are developing, reputation of the institution where they are attached. So in general, we can say the reputation also matters. The next one is facilities for content updation. So if you are giving such kind of a facility in the open education resources that we develop, then this can also be considered as a quality indicator. So friends, in general, these are the quality indicators which the Commonwealth of Learning has pointed out. Now, again, when we talk about the quality or evaluation of OERs, there is one framework which is known to be TIPS framework, TIPS. This framework was developed by the Commonwealth Educational Media Center for Asia, CEMCA. This is an associated body of Commonwealth of Learning. So, the CEMCA has developed a framework which is known to be the TIPS framework. Let us see what is this TIPS representing. As you are seeing on the slide, T represents teaching and learning processes. I represents information and material content. P represents presentation, product and format. S represents system, technical and technology. So friends, the way we have seen some parameters, factors, indicators which we can use for judging the quality of OERs, this framework also, and the points pointed like teaching and learning processes, information and material content, presentation, product and format, system, technical and technology. This also we can consider for evaluating the OER. So I would say TIPS frameworks stands for that. This is one of the framework which would help us to evaluate the quality of OERs. So if you see any OER in the internet, you can assess based on these points, whether it is having a good presentation style, whether this product is having quality, whether this is following the proper format, and how this will help you in teaching learning processes, whether it will help you in achieving your learning outcomes. So all those are related with the quality and which we can then use it for evaluating the OERs. We will be talking about tips in detail again, and the first point which I would like to make out is they have two versions. One, the version 1 TIPS framework version 1, which was published in the year 2013. Then this was revised and version 2 was published in the year 2014. So we have two frameworks, the TIPS framework. Let us see how this will be helping us to evaluate the quality of open educational resources. We were saying TIPS stands for teaching, information, presentation, system and all. Now, in each of those points, they have made the categories. And before making the categories, they have identified 5 major domains like content cognitive domain, student motivation, which is something related to affective domain, student autonomy, which is metacognitive domain, access, environment domain, then packaging, management domain. So friends, they have 5 major domains, and each domain, they have given the categories. Say for example, let us take this second, as you see in the slide, student motivation, affective domain. This is something related to the affective domain of learning. So if you are developing any teaching learning resource which are OER, then it should be able to develop, or it should be able to provoke the intrinsic motivation or extrinsic motivation. Then the next one, say for example, access, which is something related to environment domain. Financial cost involved, this is one of the categories which is involved in that domain. So how much money cost is involved in developing, whether technical accessibility is there for accessing such OER, whether the presentation and multimedia that are used, they are effective or they have the quality. So friends, what I'm saying is, we can consider these 5 domains when we are developing any OER, and if you are seeing any OER, you can evaluate those OER based on these 5 domains, whether it is helping, whether it will help you to develop knowledge and skills of the student, which comes under the first domain, content cognitive domain. So there are 2 ways to look at the tips framework. Once when you are developing this material, OER material, of course you can make use of these domains. You have to see each domain and whether the OER that you are going to develop satisfy all the categories which are listed out in each of these domains. So that you have to take care of. Then the second point, as a public or as a teacher or as an individual, when we are making use of any OER for our teaching learning purposes, we have to evaluate that OER based on this framework. So these are the 2 ways by which we can make use of tips framework. As I said, there are 2 versions, version 1 and version 2. The version 2 was then later developed, version 2.0. What they have done is, earlier the criteria was less in number. Under each of those points like teaching and learning processes, information and material content, presentation product and format, system, technical and technology. When it was revised, under teaching and learning processes, they have identified 16 criteria. Say for example, use a learner-centered approach. This is one of the criteria which is included in that teaching and learning processes. So what I would do as a developer of OER, I will be developing an OER which would be learner-centered. When somebody use that OER, they should get the feel that it is a learner-centric product. You can also see the second point, include a variety of self-assessments such as multiple choice, concept questions and comprehension tests. I would make it more simpler, like see, if I am developing a video program, I can keep on talking in the video. That is one way. The second way, I'll give a lecture, then maybe after 5 or 10 minutes, I will take a pause. I will ask my audience to do or attempt a test, or I will ask them to engage in some other activities which are related to, of course, the lecturing topic. So the students also get a time for testing their knowledge. So when we are developing any OER, it should be in such a way that it should be learner-centric. It should give chance for students to test their understanding, and there are many factors which we can include in the teaching and learning processes. So friends, 16 criteria I have given, and what you are seeing on the screen is 2 of the criteria which are included in the teaching and learning processes. Let us take one more example. Say for example, in the last, system, technical and technology, your OER should be easily portable and transmissible, and you should be able to keep an offline copy. Very simple. You should be able to port it. The second point also you can see, include a date of production and date of next revision. So when we are developing any such digital teaching learning resources, if possible, we have to include the date of production. This will help the teachers who are going to use their OER. So friends, what I am saying is tips framework version 1.0, then in tips framework version 2.0, there are 4 points, and in each of these 4 points, they have identified the criteria. In the first, it is 16, second, it is 7, in the third, it is 8, and Fourth one, it is 7. So again, this framework can also be used when we are developing any open education resources. At the same time, this can also be used to evaluate the quality of an OER. If you are taking any OER, you can judge based on these criteria. This would help you to evaluate the quality of that OER. So this is the framework, TIPS framework version 2.0. So friends, with this I would like to conclude this lecture. In this lecture, we have talked extensively about the evaluation of OER. I would again emphasize on two aspects. One, we don't have a standardized criteria, but of course we have some parameters and factors which we can use in two ways, when we are developing the OER and when we are evaluating an OER. I hope you have understood the concepts that we have covered in this video lecture. Thank you for watching this lecture.